Congratulations.
Well, now we welcome those who are joining us virtually. This is St. Stephen's United Methodist Church in Norman, Oklahoma. And wherever you are or whatever time you are watching, we are glad to have you as part of the worship circle of the people who are present here. And several announcements about things happening with our community life. First of all, this is the week when we will serve on Tuesday the meal at Food and Shelter. So if you're part of that group, you probably already have that in mind. We're happy to re-welcome Emily Rickstein, who used to be on staff here. She's here to bring music today. Emily, glad you're here. If you are part of the lunch bunch, it's not going to be this Friday, but next Friday on July the 8th because of the holiday. So the lunch bunch that gathers at noon on Fridays. The youth mission trip is coming up. Alyssa's going to come say something about that. They are on their way on July the 9th to Seashore Mission in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Is it working?
Yours is now.
Biloxi,
Mine's not.
can you hear me? No.
Test.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, have it close.
Okay, so, yes, first of all, I want to thank everybody who has supported so far with our stock sale and our Easter breakfast. We did raise enough money at this point to be able to get the transportation that we need to get us to Biloxi. Now, because we haven't asked enough, we need scholarship funds. If anybody is willing to provide funds for the kids who can't necessarily afford the price, or we have multiple families that have multiple children going, so we want to be able to add some financial relief to them as well. It's $320 per student. Right now we have 21 people going. And so if that is something that your heart leads you to do, you can get with me or you can get with anybody on staff or Lauren in the church office on Monday through Friday. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Alyssa. Now you can hear me again, right? Today at 1 o'clock, the Reconciling Committee is meeting in room 11. And I also want to say that today, the last Sunday of June, is the first Sunday for our United Methodist clergy and churches that are changing. So we keep them in our hearts that on this Sunday, when many tumultuous things have just happened, that there are pastors who are just meeting their congregations for the first time,
Jeannie,
and churches meeting theirs for the
could I
first
say
time.
a word?
Catherine wants to say something.
As SPRC, I would like to say that we are more than thankful that we will have Jeannie again.
Yes, and I am thankful that we are not one of those churches that's changing this Sunday. Next week is our Communion Sunday, and on Communion Sunday we have a fish basket for a mission offering. The mission offering for July, we are going to designate for First American United Methodist Church, a Native American church here in Norman that had some significant vandalism a couple of weeks ago, and so we're going to take this collection to show our solidarity and support to them. And then also, we cannot forget to vote this week on Tuesday. And so, I will now turn it over for our cult worship.
Please stand if you're comfortable doing so for the call to worship, and remain standing for the hymn in Green Hymnal 3072, Cast Out of Christ. Bring your longing, bring your hope.
God is with us here.
Lay down your fears, lay aside your doubts.
Faith has called us here.
Pour out your soul with prayer and praise.
We come to worship God.
may be seated. And at this time, we'll invite kids to come down front and meet with Miss Lynette for children's time.
I'm not melting when I step outside, Dave. How's it feel? Stay under the trees. You'll be okay. So, what do you think this book's about? Dreaming. Very good. It's called Happy Dreamer, and it's by Peter H. Reynolds. I am a happy dreamer. I'm really good at dreaming. Daydreams, big dreams, little dreams, creative dreams. Dreamer Maximus! Sometimes the world tells me to sit still, be quiet, pay attention, focus. But my dreams have a mind of their own. Sometimes my mind just takes flight. I hear a beat and I gotta move. Then I hear another and another. Wish you could hear inside my head. Trumpety, zigzag jazz. Can you make a trumpet sound? I knew you could. Sometimes I'm a quiet dreamer. When I make time to stay still and hear myself think, to let go and see what takes shape. Do you see that? You see different shapes in the clouds?
Yes, a pirate ship and a horse.
Oh, now see, you thought it was a pirate ship. I just thought it was a ship. Sometimes I'm a swing high dreamer, way up high, beyond the clouds. So high I could touch the sky. If I did that now, I'd break the swing. I can also be a loud dreamer. What's he say?
Loud!
I'm a shout at the top of my lungs dreamer, even if I'm just a shout inside my head dreamer. Sometimes I'm a colorful dreamer, painting my own path full of surprises at every turn. I can dream even when the lights are out. All the circuits on, fireworks, I light up. I am all ears, eyes, heart, and mind. What's coming up?
Fireworks.
Fireworks are coming up. I have so many dreams it can get messy. Creative chaos. That's my room. Is that your room, creative chaos?
Yeah.
Cleaning up hides of my treasures. If you make me, I will put my things away. But then there is less me to show. These are the moments I feel alone, boxed in. He doesn't look very happy, does he? And yet, I always find a way back, plunging into amazing, delightful, happy dreams. I'm really good at being me, a dreamer, surprising, caring, funny, gentle and smart. And when I tumble back to earth, what sound do you think you'd make? Oh. I know I'm okay. Dreamers have a way of bouncing back and moving forward. There are so many ways to be a happy dreamer. What kind of dreamer are you? Oh, look. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I can't read all those. You'll have to look at this book afterwards. But there's lots. Art happy, celebration happy, friendship happy. There's lots of them.
There's a cat you can have.
There is cat happy. But the best way to be a happy dreamer, just be you. Which is why this book is dedicated to you. Yes, you. Ta-da, the end. Do you ever daydream?
Yeah.
I did. I got in trouble once. You know why? Because I was driving my car. I was. And they wanted to know if I had a nice trip. I said, yeah, I did. So even if it's a little embarrassing sometimes, don't be afraid to daydream, okay? Let's have a prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for gracing us with the imagination of dreams, the ability to share those with people and make dreams come true. Help us to share that love that you gave us with all we need. In your name we pray. Amen. The second grade and under can follow Mrs. Vicky to celebration, and M&M Club can follow me. Anybody third to fifth?
Almighty One,
chapter 8. Jesus and his disciples sailed to the Gerasenes land, which is across the lake from Galilee. As soon as Jesus got out of the boat, a certain man met him. The man was from the city and was possessed by demons. For a long time, he had lived among the tombs, naked and homeless. When he saw Jesus, he shrieked and fell down before him. And then he shouted, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, don't torture me." He said this because Jesus had already commanded an unclean spirit to come out of the man. Many times it had taken possession of him so that he would be bound with leg irons and chains and placed under guard. But he would break the restraints and the demon would force him into the wilderness. Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "Legion," he replied, because many demons had entered him. They pleaded with him not to order them to go back into the abyss. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs. Jesus gave them permission, and the demons left the man and entered the pigs. The herd rushed down the cliff into the lake and drowned. When those who tended the pigs saw what had happened, they ran away and told the story in the city and in the countryside. People came to see what had happened. They came to Jesus and found the man from whom the demons had gone. He was sitting at Jesus' feet, fully dressed and completely sane. They were filled with awe. Those people who had actually seen what had happened told them how the demon-possessed man had been delivered. Then everyone gathered from the region of the Gerasenes asked Jesus to leave their area because they were overcome with fear. So he got into the boat and returned across the lake. The man from whom the demons had gone begged to come along with Jesus as one of his disciples. Jesus sent him away, saying, "Return home and tell the story of what God has done for you." So he went throughout the city, proclaiming what Jesus had done for him. The word of life for this day. How many of you have heard that story before? Yeah, most have. Versions of it appear in each of the three, what we call synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Each one of them has a version of this story. A man who exhibits wild behavior, often thought of as mental illness. He's living in a graveyard. Legion, we are told, the name of the demons within. Traditions call this a miracle story and an exorcism. Unfortunately, this tradition has led people of past times, and actually some people of current times, to see mental illness as demon possession and the cure to be exorcism. We know that's not the case. And I have always thought that there were better ways to read this story. So recently I saw an analysis done by Diana Butler-Bass on this story. And if you don't know who she is, she's a brilliant theologian of Christian history and writes prolifically. And what she said blew my mind. So now I'm going to blow yours. The usual name of this story is the Gerasene demoniac. It's a name that, isn't it a good name? Especially if you're a teenager, you kind of think, ooh, let's study that one. There's some problems, several problems. And problem number one with this story is that it begins by saying Jesus and his disciples ask some questions. And one question is, why are these two things tied together? And another question is there some other point being made? And so I'll say yes, there is some other point being made. So the story goes like this. Jesus and the disciples sailed or arrived in an area called the Decapolis, which is east of the Sea of Galilee. There was a man who was said to be possessed by demons who lived in the cemetery, homeless, naked, and apparently yelling frequently. The townspeople tried to deal with him by chaining him up, which always works, doesn't it? And he always broke free. Jesus sees him and he talks to him. He says, "So what is your name?" And the man answers, "Legion." Legion. Now you've heard that in horror movies before, haven't you? My name is Legion. Jesus dispatches the demons into a nearby herd of pigs who charge down into the lake and drown somehow. The pig owners are upset. They go into town and they complain. The townspeople come see this cemetery-dwelling man clothed, sitting peacefully in his right mind, and so they are afraid and tell Jesus to get out. Totally logical, right? So, the stunning part. Mark's Gospel, which is the earliest version of this story. Mark was the first of those four Gospels to be written. Mark's Gospel was written in the year 70 CE, the Common Era. And Mark seems to have shifted the name of the place from a traditional name, which was Gadara, which was near the sea, and he names it as Gerasa, which is a different town. Now the thing is, in the year 66 CE, so right before Mark wrote this, according to the great historian Josephus, in 66, the town of Gerasa was brutally attacked by the Roman forces. More than 1,000 people were killed in this attack. And so it seems that Mark is making a statement about this Roman attack, about Roman imperialism. John Dominic Crossan suggests that this story is political commentary, openly mocking Roman imperialism as demon possession. Because they were possessing the land, the towns, and oppressing the people. So he seems to be calling that demon possession demonic. And the Latin word legion means only one thing. At that time, it had only one meaning. And that was the Roman legion, a large division of imperial soldiers. And that's the only way that word ever appears in the Bible, is to refer to the grouping of soldiers. There's other terms in the original language of this story. Herd, as in the pig herd. That word was usually just referring to military recruits. And the word dismiss, what Jesus does to the demons, he dismisses them. That is a military command. And the pigs charge as soldiers charge into battle. And in this story, it seems that what symbolizes the Roman army then drowns in the sea. As you might remember, there was another story of an army drowning in the sea. It was Pharaoh's army, right? And when Pharaoh's army drowned in the sea, what was happening? The people were being freed from slavery, freed from oppression. So looking at it this way, the possessed man is a symbol of the people living under occupation, of the people stripped of dignity and self-determination. So when we don't look at this story as a literal tale of individual exorcism, then it makes sense. And it has more meaning. Jesus saw the people who were vulnerable and exposed, like the man in his nakedness, vulnerable, exposed. He saw the people and he spoke to them, acknowledging their humanity by speaking to them, acknowledging their plight, and thereby freeing them from oppression and re-dignifying the people. As the man then became dignified and sat and spoke with people. For our context today, I would want to weave another meaning in here. What if that guy that everyone thought was crazy was the only one who was really paying attention to the deaths of 1,000 people at the hands of the Roman imperialists? What if he was the only one still beating his head and saying, "No, why is this happening?" Screaming and ranting in the cemetery and mourning. Polite people trying to hush him up. And maybe he's the sanest one of all. And so what if the only sane thing for us in response to people being gunned down at grocery stores and churches and schools is to keep up the protest and to go ahead and beat our heads against the graves and say, why? And not fall into acceptance. What if the sanest thing for us to do is to live among those tombs and not forget? earlier we did share joys and concerns with the people who are gathered here. And if you're worshiping from home, we would love to hear your prayer concerns, which you may share through our website on the prayer request tab, or you can contact anyone on the church staff through email or text and let us know of your prayer concern. Let us pray together. Present God, full of care and offering grace to us, we thank you for bringing us into a circle of love and compassion, for bringing us together as people who want to keep our eyes open and pay attention, and sometimes that is just painful and hard. And we acknowledge that our country is torn in two. And we acknowledge that we don't know who to trust. But we also have to acknowledge that your love is with us. We have to acknowledge that there are people who want to stand with us, who want to keep paying attention and not sit quietly, politely by. On this day, we hold up the many people we care about who are struggling, many with health concerns, some who are grieving, some who know that their concerns will reach a difficult end. And we also know that there are many who are living with hope and hoping to find their way through the tough times. And so we ask for courage and kindness. We ask for strength and endurance. And we thank you that you look at us and call us all your beloved children. And so in the spirit of our faith, we stand on solid ground. And in the spirit of our faith, we know that what is ancient has become what is new. And in honor of that, we join our voices in this prayer as together we say, Most compassionate life giver, may we honor and praise you. May we work with you to establish your new order of justice, peace, and love. Give us what we need for growth and help us, through forgiving others, to accept forgiveness. Strengthen us in the time of testing, that we may resist all evil. For all the tenderness, strength, and love are yours, now and forever. Amen. Now I invite you to find the green hymnal and turn to 3154. Draw the circle wide. If you're comfortable doing so, please stand as we sing together. we do what is good. Go in peace. Go with God. Amen.